Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up tonight, we bring you a selection of our favourite news stories of the year, including a chef's spectacular on the beautiful Yorkshire coast and taking a step back in time. And my guest Anne Winslow will be offering me a helping hand on how to cope at Christmas. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Tuesday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First, here's Dan with a roundup of the latest news headlines.
Bill Skelly has been appointed as the new Chief Constable of Lincolnshire Police. Currently serving as Deputy Chief Constable of Devon and Cornwall Police, he will take on the new role when the incumbent Chief Constable Neil Rhodes retires early next year. The Lincolnshire Police and Crime Commissioner Mark Jones says he's looking forward to working with Skelly to continue providing the high quality of policing that Lincolnshire deserves. North Lincolnshire Council has announced it will provide alternative court provision in Scunthorpe following the closure of the Magistrates' Court on Thursday. Video link technology will link to the court based in Grimsby from a facility at Church House Square and will be used in urgent housing and family hearings. Extensive efforts have been made by the council to ensure a viable option was provided so that those who are vulnerable or may not have access to the courts in Grimsby have continued access to justice. The new facility will be called Scunthorpe Court Access Link. Residents in the East Riding are among the best recyclers in the country, according to the government's latest recycling results. East Riding Council was ranked second out of 351 local authorities in figures released by DEFRA, showing recycling rates across the country. East Riding residents have been praised for their help in achieving the impressive result. And a mighty bowhead whale is making its way to Hull, all in aid of Hull 2017. As part of the Made in Hull programme, a lifelike audio-visual installation of the mammal will be installed at the Maritime Museum, highlighting Hull's whaling heritage. Music students from across the city have worked with the museum to bring the installation to life. Visitors will be able to get up close with the full-sized whale from the 2nd of January.
Now, with just 5 days to go before the big day once again, Anne Winslow joins me now to offer some hints and tips on coping at Christmas. Anne, good afternoon. First of all, Merry Christmas to you and your fellow king. Thank you for coming in.
Merry Christmas to you. It's lovely to be here.
A stressful time of the year, Christmas, the run-up to Christmas and Christmas itself.
Yeah.
You're a therapist.
Yeah.
What do you advise on this time of the year, at this time of the year?
I think initially it's get organised as soon as you can, but by the time we've got this far, then if you're not organised, it's like a different approach. And it's like, does it really matter? Like, do you really need to spring clean the house before Christmas? You know, if you've not done your cards by now, does it really matter? A lot of people stop sending cards. So it is about simplifying it, I think, making it simple and making it nice, and don't sweat the small stuff, really.
Yes, I tend to think it's 20th of December today, so I think if nothing's done by now, let's leave it and park it until next year.
Yeah.
Now, you're prepared for Christmas?
Yeah, I like to get it organised early, but I have a really simple Christmas anyway. I've sort of really simplified Christmas. I do sort of minimalistic presents, and I just sort of enjoy the Christmas time without all the, without all the stress, really.
Simplicity, perhaps, Anne, is the key, because I think we can, at this time of the year, we tend to get lost in, what really is the meaning of Christmas and what is it all about? Is it spending time with our family and friends and our loved ones? But it's become a very commercial commodity now, hasn't it, Christmas?
I think it's, is it Martin somebody, the financial advisor? He said in October... Martin
Lewis.
That's it. Christmas is not a retail festival. That's right. And it's become very money, spend. And it's like, and that's lovely if you want to do that and you can afford to and you really love it. But if you haven't got the money or you just hate shopping, it's not a joy.
Well,
so
I'm a bit of a shopaholic, Anne, so I relish and revel.
So you love the shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's great.
But it's a case of handing out gifts, to loved ones, isn't it? And just a symbolism, perhaps, of what they mean to you.
Yeah, I mean, the gifts that we do now in our family, we just do token gifts. We made that decision a couple of years ago. And so it's taken all the shopping out, but it just means we still, do exchange gifts. Yeah. But it's just simple. It just makes it's just lovely.
No frills.
And we meet up.
No frills.
Yeah.
Perhaps on Christmas Day there may be more thrills. Tell me how we can cope at that pivotal time of the year.
I think it's... But, by that time you've got to have been organised. But I think it's important to incorporate techniques and things in your life that
Sure.
reduce stress as you go along, because it's if you get up to here with stress, then you're about to explode. But if you have things in your life that you do regular that just keep emptying it out, then you never get to that boiling point. So it's about having technique, walking, exercising, meditating, you know, listening to soothing music, having lots of different ways of relaxing yourself so you don't get to that point where you're about to explode.
So perhaps incorporate that into the Christmas schedule this year.
Yeah.
Perhaps on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, go for a nice walk.
Yeah, I mean, people who've got dogs have got a brilliant outlet. You know, it is brilliant. They get out every day walking the dogs, fresh air. It's absolutely perfect.
Absolutely. And music's a key.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of music. There's a CD that I listen to all the time by Elio, The Return, and it's just twinkly, soft music.
Nice.
And as soon as you put it on, it just calms. It calms the room, it calms everybody. So there's lots of simple things you can do. Also, breath work. Just counting your breath, like you sort of say 1 on the in-breath, 2 on the out-breath, 3 on the in-breath, and go like that to 10, then back to 10 again. And it just stills and focuses you. So there's lots of little things you can do.
So hints and tips, what may help us at this busy time of the year. Anything else you can advise?
I think play mind games. Like, your mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So imagine you're taking like a calm remedy, you know, and also imagine there's a version of you that's calm and chilled, and imagine stepping into them. And it's really fascinating how it does change things.
So that could be, Anne, an alternative family Christmas Day game.
Let's step into the new calm
Absolutely.
version.
And I wish you all the best for Christmas. Thank you very much for coming in, and I'll see you next year.
Brilliant. Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you, Anne. Now, the Lincolnshire Wolds Railway is no stranger to hosting their annual 1940s weekend, and September's event proved to be bigger and better than before. Steam engines, classic military vehicles and reenactment groups took over the station, bringing an otherwise calm, tranquil area of Lincolnshire into a thriving hub celebrating the 1940s. Fred puffed into the station to find out more.
Lincolnshire Wolds Railway's 1940s weekends are becoming more and more popular with each year, but last weekend was a particularly special event. Saturday the 3rd marked 77 years since France, New Zealand, Australia and the United Kingdom declared war on Germany after their invasion of Poland. The occasion was remembered on this quiet, secluded railway tucked away deep in the Lincolnshire Wolds, where they spent the weekend celebrating a bygone era of travel and culture.
We've had these now for about the last 10 years, and it seems to get bigger each year. We get people come from, county, all over the county and beyond really for this event. We have to turn over the field that we normally use for parking. We use that for all the various events and attractions that are going on, and we use a farmer's field on the other side of the railway for parking because we have to accommodate a lot more cars. There's a lot of nostalgia about it, isn't there? I mean, some people, you know, obviously the older generation still remember those days, but even to youngsters it's probably quite fascinating. I mean, we get an awful lot of youngsters come here who've never been on a train, full stop, never mind a steam train. The majority of us are retired people by nature, and we've got more time on our hands. We have got a small group of very dedicated youngsters who are very keen, and they're the people that we need more of, basically, because obviously the generation that are running it now won't be able to carry on forever, and we need younger people to take over. I mean, we've got some really keen youngsters some of them come here when they're still sort of 8-9 years old, and they've stuck at it, and they're still here now, and they're in their 30s. So they're the people that we need more of.
Yeah. I am a past cleaner, but I am now a trainee fireman on the steam locos.
Okay, so what do you think is perhaps the best thing about being a volunteer?
Getting mucky.
Do you like going on the trains then?
Yeah.
Really good?
Yeah. You're learning stuff every day.
The weekend spanned more than the railway, however, with rescue and military vehicles sharing the limelight, as well as reenactment groups rubbing shoulders with our Allied forces.
Being a 1940s thing, they actually the organisers like to have both sides of the picture. And of course, as we've got British and American on the other side, they always like to have the opposition on the other side of the road, so to speak, so people can get both sides of it. Obviously, if it wasn't raining, we'd all have a lot more kit out.
Yeah. but sadly not today.
Not today, I'm afraid. Not at the moment, anyway.
Well, I think it's a great tourist attraction. I mean, we keep hearing about how important tourism is to the county, and I think this railway is now making a big contribution to that. I mean, it's been proven. We've done a bit of research ourselves, getting people to say, you know, questionnaires about where they've come from and so on, and we know that people come from great distances to travel here, and people have said that they find that this railway, so it's small but it's very friendly, and they get such a good reception from the volunteers that work here, and people can book that online. You can do it on our website. If I can mention the website address, it's www.lincolnshireworldsrailway.co.uk, and you can book your tickets on there and get it all sorted out.
Lincolnshire Wolds Railway remains one of the area's star attractions on any regular day, but the 1940s weekends remain a yearly highlight. With little outside assistance, the LWR insist on putting on a stellar show that captures the spirit of the era, and this year's event met with resounding success, breathing new life into an ageing period of time. Claire McNamara, Estuary News.
Join me after the break when we pay a visit to the seaside for a chef's spectacular and all the latest sports news from Dan. A couple of months ago, I took myself off to the coast to attend a chef's spectacular, where some of the region's chefs came together for one night to nurture stars of the future. 6 Michelin-starred chefs, all alumni of Scarborough's Yorkshire Coast College, cooked up a masterclass for current students to be served to key figures in the local area. I reserved a table and joined in with the celebrations. Tonight I'm at the Spa Scarborough, where the Chef's Spectacular event is about to get underway. Now, as you can see from behind me, the weather is pretty grim, but hopefully it won't dampen the celebrations too much. Now, some of the country's best culinary talents have come together to nurture the next generation of super chefs and show off all of today's extraordinary work. Let's step inside. While the guys are still setting up behind me, I've had a chance to have a look at the order of proceedings for tonight's spectacular event. Now, following the introduction from Jill Alton, the Chief Executive of the Grimsby Institute Group, comes the first course of the evening, the canapes and arrival drinks, courtesy of Anthony Gascoigne, lecturer of the North Hertfordshire College, and I had a chance to speak to him earlier today. Anthony, good afternoon. Lovely to see you.
Good afternoon.
How does it feel to be back at your former training ground, as it were, today?
It's a little bit surreal. It's actually quite emotional coming. I haven't been back to Scarborough for 20, 22 years in the college. So seeing the lecturers who are still here is actually, it's quite surreal, but very, very rewarding to be back.
And are you looking forward to this evening's event?
Yeah, it should be good. I think we're in charge of the canapes, and we're on top of the game. We're ready for it. Few last-minute things to do, so I'm comfortable with what we've got to do. I'm looking forward to seeing what the other chefs, how they bring everything together, and I'm looking forward to seeing my students work with the other chefs as well. So it's going to be very exciting.
I've spoken to some of the chefs who've been heavily involved in the preparations this morning. It's now time for me to head down to the spa to see all their hard work and preparation finally come to fruition, and to meet some of the others involved in the celebrations. Paul.
Hello.
So I saw you earlier today.
Yep.
Preparation for this evening. And here's the finished article.
Fantastic.
Your gin and tonic cured salmon.
Yeah, so essentially we're using the same technique that we use for gravlax in Scandinavia, but we've taken the flavours of gin and tonic instead this time. So we've cured the salmon for 36 hours in all the botanicals, all the the flavours of gin, including gin itself. And once it's been compressed and marinated, we've taken it off the skin, we've diced it up, we've mixed it with flavours then that kind of work well with gin and tonic and also Scandinavian sort of flavours of gravlax. So we've got a treacle or molasses yoghurt, we've got a dill emulsion, we've got compressed cucumber, we've got pickled fennel, and we've got a gin and pickled lemon tonic gel. Yeah, it's a fresh dish and it should be almost acting like a palate cleanser after James's starter. So it almost introduces you then into, obviously, the next course would be Andrew's course. So it's quite a palate cleanser, fresh, light. And I think with the weather outside at the moment, it's quite nice to bring a bit of sun inside.
Absolutely. Am I okay to tuck in and try this?
Of course you can.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Jill, good evening. Lovely to see you as always. One of my favourite faces at the Grimsby Institute.
Oh, thank you.
Why are we here this evening?
We're here to celebrate the outstanding success of Yorkshire Coast College. They have more Michelin star chefs than any other college in the country, and 5 of them tonight have decided to come back, have offered to come back and present their signature dishes to showcase what Yorkshire Coast College has done for them and to help future students. It's absolutely been a brilliant night. I am so proud of what they've done.
Well, we've almost come to the end of this evening's Chef Spectacular, and what a fantastic evening it's been. You can see behind me that the celebrations are continuing. I think they'll be continuing well into the night. One thing I've particularly enjoyed about this event is how well the chefs and the students have worked together to put on this spectacular event. Everyone's enjoyed all the exquisite food. I know I certainly have, and we hope that this will become a key event in the calendar next year. Luke Adams, Estuary TV News.
Lincolnshire regularly celebrates Armed Forces Day, but 2016 promises to be a day to remember, with the national event taking place in Cleethorpes itself, with other local events spread out across the country. Ahead of the day, RAF Coningsby recently opened its doors and its hangars to showcase their Battle of Britain Memorial Flight aircraft in their hangars. Aircraft including the Typhoon, the Lancaster and more will take to the skies throughout Armed Forces Day.
I think there can be no finer words than awe-inspiring and a sense of privilege that I get to fly these aeroplanes so we can remember what was given by so many for all of us those many years ago. The aircraft themselves are iconic, the Hurricane and the Spitfire, the Lancaster when we have that one as well, and the Dakota. They bring back so many memories to every person that comes into the flight. You just have to see them come into the hangar, which is behind me, and you see emotions playing across their faces, tears in their eyes. The sense of national pride that these aeroplanes and what they did all those years ago is just immense.
I believe the general public think that these aircraft are vital to the nation's heritage. They hold them very dear to their heart, what they stand for in giving our freedom to this country.
For me, the fact that we can bring the memory of the past into the memory of the future, and obviously remember those who have given so much for this country, even the ultimate sacrifice over the last couple of decades serving their country abroad and overseas, and remembering not only the individuals but their friends and families at home as well, which is so very, very important.
The Armed Forces Day, I believe the best thing about the Armed Forces Day event is the general public getting behind all 3 of the forces, and the appreciation that the public show for us is really, really rewarding.
With a full day's worth of activities for the public to witness, including displays from the Royal Navy, the Red Devils, the Royal Marines and the Red Arrows, this year's Armed Forces Day is set to hold a special place in Cleethorpes' heart.
Now here's Dan with all the latest news from the world of sport.
Scunthorpe United have reported annual losses for their last financial year. The Iron lost £2.6 million for the year ending on the 30th of June 2016, which is down from £3.2 million for the previous year. Grimsby Town trialist Akeem Rose scored again for their youth team yesterday. Neil Woods' side recorded their second win in a week over York City by 2-0. He's come in from Midland League team Heather St John's. On to rugby now, and Hull FC are preparing to get their pre-season action underway on Boxing Day. They'll be competing for the inaugural Harrison Bryan Trophy against the Castleford Tigers. Jack Harrison and Thomas Bryan fought in the First World War and just 2 of 3 rugby league players to have received the Victoria Cross, the highest accolade that can be awarded to a member of the British military. Boxing Day will mark 100 years since Harrison's final game for the Black and Whites. The game takes place in Castleford at 1:30 p.m. Hull Kingston Rovers have expressed their condolences to the friends and family of former winger Chris Young, who sadly passed away over the weekend. A product of the club's academy, Young was a prolific try scorer for the Robins during the 1960s, crossing for 85 tries in 164 appearances, and went on to earn international honours with Great Britain. Noted for his speed, Young scored in Rovers' 25-12 victory over Featherstone in the 1966 Yorkshire Cup final, and in a victory over Hull at the same stage of the competition the following year, as the Red and Whites defended their title. And finally, Rugby Union, Hull Ionians beat Loughborough 18-16, while Hull IUFC beat Ilkley 33-3. Elsewhere, Scunthorpe beat Sheffield Tigers 26-12, and Hullensians missed out in a narrow 20-19 loss to Beverley. Josh Langford scored 2 of Hullensians' 3 tries to run the 6th place side close. They're now 9th in the division. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Dan. That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. As always, if you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472315553, and put pen to paper and write to Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Join me same time tomorrow as we continue our look back over the year, including a snooker pro who is right on cue, and I'll be talking to Andrew Smith about the homeless this Christmas. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, good evening.